Hi everybody, this is Nettie, and thanks so much for watching. This is the second in my series of stocking a healthy and fit kitchen, which is basically a set of clips that I'm making to share some of the changes that I've made in the environment of my kitchen. You know, when your environment supports change, your change tends to stick and turn into a lifestyle. So I just want to share some of the things that I've added into my kitchen that really do help me when I'm preparing nutritious and healthy meals for myself and my family. The first video, and I'll make sure to put a link to it or a reference to it down in the comments section, it talks about 5 of my freezer staples. Well, today, as you can see, we're in my pantry. So I want to share with you some of the things that I always have on hand. They've been tremendously helpful to me, and hopefully they'll be some good ideas or some tips for you. One of the first things that I always kind of have is going to be a selection of beans. Growing up, we used to have this saying, beans, they're good for your heart. The more you eat them, and I'm going to change that last part to say, the more health you're adding into your digestive system. Beans are really good for you. They're very low in calories. They're very low in fat. They do have a good bit of fiber. They're also pretty high in protein. And in addition to that, they have some really important nutrients. They're going to have a lot of magnesium, a lot of iron. They're also pretty high in the B vitamins that give you energy as well. So they're just a really great, power-packed nutrition source. There's also a lot of variety in beans, and I try to keep a good variety in my pantry. In the dried area, I'm going to have everything from red beans to black-eyed peas. I think I have some kidneys there in the back. These are lentils and split peas. I kind of put those in the bean category. And then I also do keep a variety of them in the canned form. Everything from black beans to garbanzo beans to pinto beans to great northern beans and navy beans. I also keep, just cans and cans and cans of this on hand. You can do a lot with them. Of course, they can be made as kind of like a standalone protein. Everybody's familiar with red beans and rice, or a nice pot of pinto beans or hoppin' john. But you can also add them into side dishes to just give a little bit of bulk protein and flavor. Sometimes I will take some garbanzo beans or black beans and sprinkle them across a salad. Sometimes I'll throw them inside a soup. You can puree them and make spreads, and you can even make desserts with them. Bean pies are actually quite tasty. They replace like a sweet potato with a pureed bean, and it's actually quite fabulous. So they're very healthy for you. One of the things that I do want everybody, I kind of want to point out, is when you're going with the can, this is going to win for convenience. They're already cooked. They've been soaked and prepared, so you're kind of good to go. The drawback is that they will have a pretty high amount of sodium. Whenever you go canned, check out the sodium, and it's usually high, sometimes higher than what some people's dietary needs are. If that's the case, a tip is to sometimes leave the juice that it comes in. A lot of the sodium will settle into the liquid, so if you leave that in the can and just take the beans, that can help a bit. I've also sometimes rinsed them. Throw them in a colander, just rinse them very well with water, especially if I'm going to season them up myself in the preparation, and that's going to take some of the sodium down. Of course, if you stay with the dried beans, you're going to control the amount of sodium, and so you can keep all of that under wraps. It's going to take a little bit more time, but it's also going to be a much more cost-effective way. So dried and or canned, either way is going to work for you. So it's a great thing with your beans. Staying across the top shelf here, the next thing that I wanted to point out that's always in my kitchen is going to be a variety of different types of pasta. Right now I think I have lasagna noodles, I have a thin spaghetti, I have a penne, I have some shells mixed up with some spirals that actually have, peas and carrots kind of mixed into it, so that's why they're tricolored. But I try to keep a variety because I use pasta for all kinds of things. Sometimes it's the main dish. I'll take some seafood or some other kind of protein, saute it up, maybe with a little bit of garlic, some fresh herbs. olive oil, a nice sauce, and just have a really nice meal there. Of course, you can always make it with a nice red sauce. You can make a pasta salad. You can throw pasta into soup. There's just a lot of different things that you can do with it, and having a variety is going to get you ready and good to go. When we're talking about variety, one thing that I would like to point out is there are a lot of different types of pasta, and by that I don't just mean the shape or form of it. There are a lot of different pastas when it comes to the substance or what's in them. I think many of us are familiar with just the standard white pasta, which really will hit that glycemic index pretty hard. It's going to be a very fast developing sugar. Well, now we do have the ability to get whole wheat pastas, which actually do have a slightly nutty flavor. I really like it, and it didn't take long at all for my family's palate to get used to it. You also can have whole grain pastas, and they even have something now called a plus pasta, where they've added additional protein. They've upped the protein in that particular pasta, even added things like omega-3, so they're making it a very nutritionally sound pasta. So just take a look at some of those varieties and try them. See if you like them, because they can definitely be a great add to your health. Another area or group of things that I always keep on hand is going to be a variety of vinegars. And I probably will not be able to pull all of these down. But vinegars are wonderful. They're very versatile in your kitchen because they allow you to add a ton of flavor to your recipes and to also make things on your own instead of buying prepared items like dressings and marinades. So again, you can control what goes in it, flavor it the way that you like it, and you're going to know exactly what the nutrition is going to be like and make it fit into your particular needs or plans. So I always have a number of vinegars on hand. I really do love the rich and robustness of a nice balsamic vinegar. I always keep a white wine, a red wine vinegar, and an apple cider vinegar on hand. I use the apple cider a lot in dressings. The others I use an awful lot in marinades. And I also keep some plain old distilled white vinegar. I use that for cleaning. It's great for cleaning, you know, your pots and pans and other household uses. And I also use that to make buttermilk. It goes into my baking, because if you take a little bit of white vinegar and some low-fat milk, you can make buttermilk. So I don't have to buy another refrigerator staple. Just by keeping that versatile white vinegar in the pantry, I have another great use for it. So I recommend that you have some of those and that you experiment with the wonderful recipes that are out there for dressings and marinades and the like. The next thing that I want to point out is I always have a pretty significant variety of canned or jarred tomato products. Tomatoes are good for you, again, low in fat, high in nutrition, particularly in antioxidants. Tomatoes are fantastic. There's a particular one that is strong in called lycopene, and there have been many studies that find that it can be helpful in reducing cholesterol, and they do feel that lycopene also is an antioxidant that has some cancer prevention properties. So again, it's just a very low-calorie, very flavorful add to many of your dishes. I have all kinds of varieties from, of course, salsa. You've got to have salsa in a fit kitchen. There's just so much that you can do with that. To chopped tomatoes, stewed tomatoes, diced tomatoes, tomato sauce, tomato paste, and you can even buy them with additional items. For example, this one is queso ready because it has green chilies in it. This one is a chili ready because it has some cumin and other spices that kind of helps you to go in that kind of Mexican kind of flavor direction. So it's a time saver as well as a great start to help you to make some other dishes. So we've done beans, dried and canned. We've done pastas, we've done vinegars, we've done tomato sauces. And since I couldn't really pick a fifth from a food item, what I want to show you now is basically a pantry item, but it's how I cook some of my food. So it's not actually a food, it's a food preparation tool. So I'm going to grab the camera and give you a shot of my food preparation tools. very quickly. Down at the bottom, I have a couple of slow cookers, or we used to call them crock pots. Coming up a little bit, I have 2 contact grills. The top one has, this one here, has the ability to remove different plates. And then, of course, I think everybody in the United States has a George Foreman grill. He did a great job with that marketing. And as George said, it knocks out the fat. I also have here a steamer. By far, my favorite is way down here on the bottom. And I don't know if you guys can see that. That is my Showtime rotisserie and barbecue. Y'all can tell I watch a lot of infomercials. That thing is fantastic. The TV commercial says that you can set it and forget it. And basically, it is a rotisserie, and it allows particularly your proteins to baste in their own juices. So you get the most juicy and flavorful meats that you can absolutely imagine. We do our Thanksgiving turkey in that every single year, and it tastes better than a fried turkey to me. It's injected up, put that thing on the rotisserie, it's fantastic. So, hopefully these 5 items were very helpful to you. You got some tips. And if you have any uses for these items that we mentioned, I'll have them up on the screen, please leave them in comments, or if there's some other things that you feel are must-haves in your pantry, please do share. Let us all learn and grow and change together. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks again for watching. I'll have another video coming up soon, so please do subscribe if you've not done so. And then always, let us just keep in mind that apart from God, we can do absolutely nothing. So let's glorify Him in all that we do. Thanks again for watching. You take care and be blessed.